Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel, I'll be providing some stock analysis and also an update on our $1 million challenge, so please stay tuned. In the previous video, we did a stock update on ticker symbol GGPI, Goes Guggenheim Incorporated, and also a potential SPAC merger with Polestar. So please refer back to the previous video for details of this stock. So if we have a look at the chart for today at time of editing, we can see earlier in the day there was a great buying opportunity where this dropped below $14.50. However, at time of editing, it's now up just in excess of 2% on the day at $15.10. So tremendous opportunity here still going forward for potential for Polestar through this SPAC acquisition. So please refer back to the previous video for details of GGPI. Before we start today's stock analysis, a quick reminder of the $1 million challenge. So if anyone's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So it involves trying to achieve 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, and we do take into account losses. So for the challenge, we have a special spreadsheet with low and medium risk stocks and also target buy prices as well. Many of them color coordinated. So we also have a growing Discord community, well in excess of 300 now, sharing due diligence, trading tips, technical analysis, buy alerts, etc. The Discord area includes sections such as an agreement area, FAQs, you can chat and ask questions, share your buys. There's a king and queen alert section and also a leaderboard with updates. And for the challenge, we also have a special exclusive video with more in-depth detail of strategy for the challenge, which is only available through the Discord. So join us on this journey. Details in description below. Today's stock analysis is for ticker symbol MMAT Metamaterials. This is a stock that we have featured a few times on the channel. There was a release of earnings yesterday after hours, so we're going to have a look at that shortly. But before we do that, there's one question I think I'd like to ask, which many people are also asking, and that is, why is the stock trending down? And including today at time of editing, we can see here on the screen, the stock was down just in excess of 3.8%. However, what you can see in terms of the chart at market open, it did get to a price close to $4.30, but at time of editing, it is showing a little bit of a recovery, moving up, and at time of editing, it's $4.58. What I can say is, although in earnings, we did not expect some significant breakthrough in terms of a huge catalyst, overall the earnings was positive, so we're going to have a look at that. But one other thing that I can confirm is there is no bad news with regard to the stock. The general conditions of the market today were not good. And Metamaterials has been affected by that. I think there is some pressure from the shorts as well. But overall, I think it's one of those stocks that you do have to believe in what you hold. And for the long term, I think the potential is still there. Metamaterials is also a company that is very heavily involved in research and development. The main focus right now is not based on revenue generation. However, that will change, hopefully very, very soon. Once that happens, I'm very, very confident of a turnaround in the share price. But let's now proceed to have a look at earnings. So with regard to earnings, we can see here George has tweeted today, 16th of November 2021. I think he is trying to build confidence here. So credit to George. And George has stated here, business as usual. In my opinion, we are in full compliance with SEC regulations. So that's confirmation of release of earnings without any serious problems. And now that management is off the blackout period, I will be adding to my personal position, ticker symbol MMAT, go beyond quarterly 3 updates, link there. So from the message I get from this tweet here, that George also believes that the stock is probably undervalued, he's now going to add. So we need to stay tuned and see what George will do, because obviously these will be on record. So I think it's also an indication that George is also saying that he believes the stock is probably a great buying opportunity right now, and he also believes in the future, and that is one of the reasons that he's stated here that he will be buying. Let's jump straight into the financial statements, item 1, and this is the balance sheet. It is unaudited, but I don't have any concerns with regard to the accuracy of this, and George has stated that in his tweet as well. So let's have a look at the first figure, which I think is standing out, and that is with regard to assets, cash and cash equivalents. So December 31st, 2020, the company had just in excess of $1 million in cash. Right now, we can see the company has in excess of $140 million in cash or cash equivalents. So that's a huge increase. It's good news and it's positive. Another prominent and important figure here we can see September 30, 2021 is the company also has in excess of $73 million for assets held for sale. Again, that's great news for the business as well. And the total current assets we can see September for close of play September 30th 2021 is just in excess of $218 million in cash in terms of current assets, and we can compare that to a previous figure of just in excess of $2.7 million in cash. So let's now proceed to have a look at the total assets, including long-term and fixed assets. And we can see here this includes intangible assets, it includes property, it includes operating lease right use of assets, and it also includes goodwill. So if we add all these up, we can see the figure jumps from 218 million to well in excess of $454 million in total assets. So absolutely tremendous figure here. And December the 31st, the total assets were just in excess of 10 million. So that is a huge increase of approximately $444 million. So that is great news. However, as we saw earlier, the stock price did go down. And that is one of the reasons why many investors will be worried and thinking, why is that the case, especially when they have such a strong and healthy balance sheet. So let's now have a look at the liabilities. So on the next slide, we will be able to see here is the liabilities. So again, same two columns. We have on the far right hand side, we have the period close of play December 2020, and the current period here in the middle is September 2021. So let's have a look at the important figures here. So in terms of liabilities, right at the bottom we can see total liabilities just in excess of 94 million. That compares with 19 million for the period close of play December 2020. So the liabilities have gone up. We can see there is more debt. However, if we compare that with the amount of assets that the company have in excess of 454 million, this is not an item of concern because the business is in a very strong, healthy position where this should not affect their operations going forward in the medium and in the long term. Let's now proceed to have a look at the revenue. Let's now have a look at the statement of operations, which includes revenue and it also includes expenses. The two columns I'm interested in are here on the right hand side. So far right hand side is the period 2020, September, close of play September 30th, 2020. The one we're going to compare it with is the one right next to it, which is close of play September 30th, 2021. So the first key figure here is for total revenue. So 2020 close of play revenue was just in excess of $848,000. That has now more than doubled, and we now have reported revenue here in excess of $1.7 million. So a huge increase there, more than 100%. So that's good news. Gross profit previously was just in excess of $845,000. Gross profit now is just in excess of 1.6 million. So positive figure here for gross profit. However, if we take into account all the expenses, we can see these include things like selling and marketing expenses. We have quite a significant one in terms of general administration expenses. That's just in excess of 16 million right now. Total operating expenses just in excess of $22 million. And we now have at the very, very bottom an operating loss of $61 million. So the company is not anywhere close to profit making. However, what we can see compared to 2020, the losses have increased, but it's not a concern for the company because the company is cash rich. The assets are very significant, and this is purely a case in terms of the company it will be spending a lot of money on research and development. It will be spending a lot of money on administration. We can see here on the screen that the research and development figure reported is just in excess of $5 million. General administration expenses just in excess of $16 million. So the company seems to be investing in the future. And once this revenue figure increases with contracts and with reported contracts, as George seems to be promising, I think we're going to see a very strong turnaround in these accounts. Final thing I'd like to do is finish off by having a look at an updated statement from the company with regard to the dividend. This is what many people are waiting for now. We are getting very, very close, probably 5 to 6 weeks before the time that we were given. But let's have a look at the statement. I'm going to summarize this for you here. It's just in the middle of this section 2 under oil, natural gas, properties and preferred stock liability. So what the company is stating here is, pursuant to the arrangement, the company has reclassified the O&G assets, so we're referring to oil and gas assets here, and some people have stated that the company does not have any assets because they're held by the university. So that's not necessarily the case in terms of the company not having assets. The company do have assets. The land may belong to the university, so please refer back to the previous video for that. But in terms of the value and the assets for oil and gas, then Torchlight Energy did have a right to sell these for sale. So let's have a look at the rest of the statement. So we can see here, as assets held for sale since number 1, management has committed to a plan to sell the assets. So what that is stating is they are still committed to selling the assets. There's no statement here with regard to any spin-off oil company. Number 2, the assets are available for sale in the present condition. So what that indicates to me is no changes have been made to the land, no changes have been made in terms of conditions with regard to the assets. And finally, number 3, the sale is probable and is expected to close within 1 year. So there's a clue here. What they've said, the sale is probable, so that means it's more likely there will be a sale. That's how I read that. And they've also said here is expected to close within 1 year. So I'm not sure if that means they're going to ask for an extension. So there was a statement in the small print that they could possibly look for an extension for that, but they've said here they expect it to close within 1 year. So I'm hoping that this period here they're talking about is still close of play December. And finally, they've stated here the selling price is reasonable in relation to the assets current fair value. So in all my dividend calculations previously carried out, this is one thing I've always asked. I've always said the company needs to sell assets at a reasonable and a fair value. So if you refer back to my previous dividend calculations, I believe I have been in many cases fairly conservative, and I think we're not expecting a dividend which is looking at selling the oil and gas assets cheaply and quickly just to sort of commit to the time period agreed. But what we are looking for is a fair value sale. So the company have stated that here in part 4. Selling price is reasonable in relation to the assets current fair value. So that's the updated statement here with regard to the dividend. Finally, if anybody would like to join us on the journey of investing $1,000 to $1 million over a period of 3 years in our $1 Million Challenge, details in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.